and waved. Then a gust of wind sent me tumbling into a snowbank, and I screamed so much, Noi thought the weather had turned into an attack. She snatched us up and ran inside. We had been living on Baldwin Street for almost a year when Mr. Heidinga invited us to dinner at his family's massive pillared house in East Grand Rapids. The Heidingas had a cook, like Alice on the Brady Bunch, and she must have fed us, me, my sister Ann, and the Heidinga daughters, all sequestered together in the kitchen. But I don't remember eating anything. I only remember staring and silence, and Heather Heidinga, who might have been Marcia with that oval face, opening a canister of Pringles. Ann and I were transfixed by the bright red cylinder and the mustache grin on Mr. Pringles' broad, pale face. The Heidinga girl pried off the top and crammed a handful of chips into her mouth. We watched the crumbs fall from her fingers to the floor. Mrs. Heidinga swished into the kitchen to see how we were doing. Later, my father would swear that she served them raw hamburgers for dinner. Mrs. Heidinga was tall and blonde, glamorous in a pastel pantsuit and clicking heels. When she touched her daughter's hair, her bracelets clattered richly. Nicole Heidinga, who was younger than her sister but older than mine, waited for her mother to go back to the dining room. She shoved her hand into the can of Pringles and said, "Where's your mom?" Ann and I made no answer. We had none to give. We had left Vietnam in the spring of 1975 when my sister was 2 and I was 8 months old. By then, everyone in Saigon knew the war was lost, and to stay meant being sent to re-education camps or worse. The neighbors spoke of executions and what the communists would do to their children. They talked of people vanished and tortured, a haunting reminder of what my grandfather had endured in the North. My father heard that some Americans were going to airlift children out of the country, and he wondered if he could get Ann and me on one of those planes. Operation Baby Lift, it was called, and over the course of April would carry away 2,000 children. But on April 4th, the first flight crashed at the Tang Son Nhut Air Base, killing most on board. My father decided he had to find another way, though time was running out for Saigon. Americans were fleeing. Wealthy Vietnamese worked bribes to get any route out. Masses of would-be refugees mobbed the airport. On the morning of April 29th, the last helicopters rose from the roofs of the American embassy. The North Vietnamese were closing in, firing rockets at the downtown neighborhoods where looters were still smashing in windows. Tanks would be rolling into the presidential palace by the next day. Du Cuong, who was based at the naval headquarters, called Du An at the Army Communications Center. 24 ships had been waiting at the Saigon River for the past month, preparing for the end. Now it was time. "I'm getting on a ship," Du Cuong said. "You get the family on any one you can. Go now." He had been to the United States for training missions. There's a photograph of him confident and grinning in hip-slung bell-bottoms, his hair wind-blown while the Statue of Liberty rises up behind him. And he was certain that we would all be able to meet up there. "We'll find each other," he said casually, as if America were a small town. Duan went straight home and sat down dazed. He was known as the level-headed practical one, and he wasn't so prepared to abandon everything and throw our fate into an old Vietnamese warship. My father argued with him. "There's no other way," he pointed out. "This is our last chance." We headed toward the Vietnamese naval headquarters, Duan driving a motorbike while holding An in one arm, and my father on his own bike with Noi on the back holding fast to me. They drove through the 24-hour curfew and the thundering of shells. All around us, people were running, dropping suitcases and clothes, trying to flag down cars. At the Saigon River, my father and uncle abandoned their once fiercely protected bikes, only to see thousands of people already gathered at the headquarters gates, where guards patrolled with automatic rifles. They began searching for another way to the docks, pushing through the screaming crowd. A full